Good morning, all the champs. Hope you're doing good, and I hope you have learned all lecture number 1 to lecture number 8. Not lecture number 8, lecture number 8 is scheduled today, right? So, part number 1 to part number 7 is already the prerequisite before entering part number 8, right? Those who have jumped in directly to part number 8, I request them to go and watch part number 1 to part number 7 completely before they move and get started with part number 8. So before I get started, let me have a small recap of what we have learned so far: cookies and sessions. Right? We learned that cookies are temporary piece of data that we have to set to the response stream so that it's set inside the client computer for authorization and for security and tracking purposes, right? We use that cookie for. And we have seen sessions also. We've seen how to create a session, how to destroy a session, how to create a cookie, and how to destroy a cookie. So let me have a quick test of what we did in class number 6, I suppose. Yeah. So let's log in. Password is password. Yeah. Welcome to the website. So I'm creating a non-persistent cookie right here. Okay, now let me restart the browser. Alright, so let me go back to localhost welcome page and see what we get. Alright, maybe cookie is there that we have to delete, right? Let me go to storage and delete all the cookies because we had set cookie. Previously we had set this cookie for maybe a month, so the cookie is still there. Right, so I'll just destroy the cookie and now we are redirected back to the main page. So let me type name and password. Without clicking the remember me, I will just log in. Right, so I will copy this to clipboard, close the browser, reopen the browser. Since it is non-persistent cookie which is supposed to be lost, yeah, the cookie is lost. The session is destroyed as soon as you close the browser. So let me click on remember me and type Fahim and password, which is password, and yeah, now I'm logged in. Let me copy this again and close the browser. Now I should not be able to log in, or I shouldn't be able to see that login screen because I'm already logged in and cookie is going to let me go through, right? So I'm through. Right, so now it's working absolutely fine. So let's move ahead with today's class and let's do the remaining things. So now we are yet to create, for example, logout. So first we'll create a logout for session and then we'll create logout for cookie. Sign out is already there. Now sign out is logout.jsp. So I'll quickly go to logout.jsp and open logout.jsp and see what we are doing here. Okay, we are checking if the session is started, then remove the session and redirect the user. In case if the session is not started, still redirect the user back to the main page because unnecessary calling logout function is not going to work, or logout.jsp is not going to work, right? Okay, and now we have to destroy session. And in order to destroy session, right, I'll have to call and compare if the session is started or not, right? So let's say about if the session is not null, you are removing the session. What if we still have a cookie somewhere present? Okay, so I'll say cookie C is equivalent to request.getCookies, right? So you know that it returns array of cookies. Yeah. So now what we have to do here is just use this if C, cookie, which is this cookie, if cookie is not equivalent to null, right? So if cookie is not equivalent to null, otherwise looping through a null cookie will create null pointer exception, as I've already shown you, during part number 6 or part number 7 maybe. So this is part number 8. Yeah, part number 7. I've shown you in part number 7 that how if you destroy a blank or a null cookie will throw a null pointer exception, right? All right, so let's carry on. And then what you got to do is run a for loop, right? Either you can run for loop or you can run for each. So I am going to go with for each cookie, and I call this as a row and I'm going to loop through this cookie right here, start and end, right? I'll say if, in case, once you are looping through the cookies, only when you find, right, if c dot get name, if cookie dot, no, it's not cookie, sorry, row, if row dot get name dot equals, ignore the case, which is authentic, what is the name of cookie? I forgot, so let me see, auth cookie, right? Alright, so let me try auth cookie. Now in case if cookie is not null, I repeat, create an object and request the cookies. You're requesting cookies and all the cookies are now inside the array of cookies. Now first you check if the array is not null. If the array is null, looping through the array will cause null pointer exception. So to save that null pointer exception, what you do, you just run through the loop or go through the loop or iterate through these elements of cookies only when it is not null, right? And then you have to compare if anytime while looping through, if you find auth cookie, then what you got to do is this, right? Then you say that cookie, that the cookie that you have found dot set. I'll say row dot set the maximum age to 0 and add cookie back to the response, right? Response dot add cookie, right? So it's as simple as anything. Response dot add cookie, the row. All right. Why are we getting error? Response dot add cookie cannot be applied. Method add cookie in interface JSP servlet response cannot be applied. Required cookie found no arguments, right? So no, but arguments are there. Response dot add cookie row. I don't know. No, it's just a wrong error. So I had to save it. At times compiler also tests our patience, right? Okay, now it's done. If you have created a session, the session is meant to be removed, and after that cookie is meant to be checked. If there is any cookie, you are removing the cookie by setting the maximum age to 0 and redirecting the user back to the main page. So let me try now once again. Right, so let me go to localhost welcome.jsp. Since cookie is there, I'll hit sign out. Yeah, now if I go back to welcome page, yeah, the cookie is removed. Now you can see, I'll show you both of them, Fahim and password. So now sign out, cookie is not there, sign out has happened. If I directly go to welcome.jsp now, I'm thrown back, right? Okay, fine. So let me click remember me now, and let me type my name and password and click the login button. And now since the cookie is there, right, so I'll show you. Okay, I'll go to storage and show you guys. Yeah, auth cookie is there. Now what I do, I click sign out and both the session and cookie are going to be removed, right? So cookie is now auth cookie is still there, but it has lost its validity, right? Because it expires May 7, right? 15, 49, 51. So it's already expired now, right? You can say it was set till 7th of May, but now it has expired. Now to see whether the cookie has expired, you'll still go to welcome.jsp and you can see you're getting redirected back to the login page. So this is done. So the second process that we had to do is get the authorized logged in user, right? And that's what we had to do, get the authorized logged in user. We have checked authorized function is authorizing us, right? If the remember me is clicked, start a cookie. If the remember me is not clicked, start a session. So this part is done. Is authorized is checking whether cookie or session. If there is nothing available, neither the cookie nor the session, redirect user back to login page and do not allow access to the protected areas. So now all the things are done. Is authorized, login is valid, everything is working fine. So now what I'll do, I'll create another function, public static string, right, get logged in user. So I have to get a logged in user now, right? For example, if I return, let me return for example FAHIM. So I'm returning Fahim here. So let me go to welcome.jsp now. I'll say welcome right here and I'll call the same function right here. I'll say string user is equivalent to accounts controller dot get logged in user, as simple as anything. And I will pass the same object right here, which is m. Right, so I'm passing the same object, and logged in function should accept that object. Yeah, I have to accept the model object here. Now let me accept model object model m. Right, so now everything is fine. Now string user is having the current logged in username, right? So let me open expressions and let me print it out, and welcome. Let me again open expressions and let me again print it out. Fine, so far it's absolutely fine. Okay, fine, user. So absolutely fine. We don't have any problems here. Let me now go to welcome page. Yeah, so we'll have to log in first. Okay, so let me say Fahim and password. Right, so you can say welcome Fahim to our website. Fahim is statically given. You can change it from accounts controller. Right, so you can say Fahim Khan. Now you can go back. Right, you can say welcome Fahim Khan to our website. So it's statically given. Now what we have to do here, return the user who is currently logged in. So I will say if, right, user dot get, okay, it's not user, it's m again. If model dot get session dot get attribute, which is auth session, I suppose. I am in habit of forgetting. Okay, the names. Okay, right. If m dot get session dot attribute is not equivalent to null, if the session is not equivalent to null, then what you got to do is return, right? So you have to return back to, I will say session, or we can say m dot get session dot get attribute, the name of the session. So you're returning back whatever is in session, you're returning it back to the function after converting it to string. Okay, now you have converted it back to string. Now you are returning it back. And now in that case, if it is not, if the session is not happening, so you'll go to else and you will say return, right, none, just for the sake, you know. All right, so now let's try. Yeah, welcome Fahim to our website. Now this username is coming from the session now, right? So this username is coming entirely from the session, right? Okay, just a moment. Okay, now what we have to do now, what if session is not there, maybe cookie is there. For example, if I sign out, right? So after signing out, I will not create a session, I'll create a cookie. Right, so now I'm creating a cookie by clicking the remember me. Now you can see welcome none to our website. Why? Because now the session is null. You're going to, eventually you will go to else right here. So now in else you will say cookie oh, I am having severe cold, I suppose. Cookie C is equivalent to new, or we can say cookie C is equivalent to user dot get. Why do I type user? Because I'm very fond of this. Okay, m dot get request dot get cookies. Right, so I am getting the cookies and giving cookies back to my cookie array. Right, fine. It is going to happen only when I have not logged in, only when session is not started. If the session is not started, we have to get username from the, we have to get username from the cookie. If there is no session, there is cookie. If there is nothing, redirect back. That's happening, right? So that part we have already done. And then what I am going to do here is, right, I will say if cookie is not equivalent to null. If there is something in the cookie, right, we have to check it, right? If cookie is not equivalent to null, right, only then perform the following action right here. What action do you want me to perform? For loop, right? And we are going to loop through. The type is cookie and the object is rows, and I'm going to take this C. Right, while looping through, every single result will go in this row. So I will say if any moment in time, I'll say dot equal if rows dot get name dot equals, ignore the case, with the auth cookie. What is the cookie name? Yeah, it is auth cookie. Now if the session name matches at that of, or the cookie name matches as that of the cookie, which is auth cookie, then what you got to do is return, right? Return back, or let me declare a variable here. So I will say string name is equivalent to nothing, right? And now if you find session, I'll say name is equivalent to this, and if you find cookie, I will say name is equivalent to rows dot get name, right? So by this way you're going to get the current name or the name, right? And at the end of the function, right, before the end of the function, after you finish through the loop and go through the loop, return back the name back to the function. So returning back name, right, to the function. Now what this function is doing, let us have a look. Declaring a name and checking if the session has started. If the session is started, get the session, right? Take out the value out of the session and give it to name and return name. If not, then please check if there is a cookie that is set. If the cookie is set, and check whether the auth cookie is set. If auth cookie is set, get the name and return it back, give it back to name and return back, right? So either session or cookie. You are expecting 1 out of 2 every time you log in, okay? All right, even if both are there, so still we are not going to get any problem. So let me now hit welcome. Auth cookie, what are we getting? Auth cookie, I don't know, look what I have done, right? I've done a big mistake somewhere. Okay, now I have to, if rows dot get name dot equal, okay, I don't have to return get name, I have to return the value inside it. So I'll say get value, right? So it's happening absolutely right, everything is right, because what you are returning, if you match auth cookie, the name is auth cookie, then you have to get value inside auth cookie. So that's what I'm doing here. So let me quickly go welcome Fahim to our website. Let me try both now. If I go directly to welcome page, I'm thrown out. Now if I log in using a plain session, I get welcome Fahim to our website. Right, if I hit sign out and try and go back to the welcome page, so I still go out. Now if I click remember me, right, I'll hit username and password, right? So now cookie is working fine. Right, now if I sign out and disturb and destroy our cookie, right, let us see what happens. Now if I go to welcome page, okay, fine. So still we are going to get absolutely fine. So let me start a session and let me again start a cookie. For example, if I type Fahim and password, now I log in, welcome Fahim, and now if I go back to main page, what will happen if I go to main page? Right, so if I go back to main page.jsp, now cookie is already there. Now I am starting a session. Because we are using if else everywhere, so it doesn't matter what you're starting. Now the name is coming from the session. Now if you destroy the session, right, because once you sign out, you're going to destroy both. Session is destroyed and cookie is destroyed, right? So this is the fail safe. We are playing safe here. Now everything is working absolutely fine. And the last but not the least thing, we still have to show error to user. Right, we have to make user aware of the activities he is doing inside on our website. So we'll have to make him aware, and in order to make him aware, right, I'll have to go and check all the functions. Now what is happening here is authorized, right? Is authorized at the end of the day is redirecting us back to main page. Now can I pass a get parameter or can I pass a query string? I told you query string is anything that is appended at the end of the URL. I will document it for you. Query, okay, I am just using Python, documentation. So query string is appended. When I say append happens at the end, right? At the end of the URL, right, and has 2 sections, a Q, a question, and an answer, right? So question is going to be Q and answer is going to be A, right? For example, right, ID is equal to 101. So ID is the question and the answer is this. So 101 is assigned to ID now. So this is the correct definition for your query string. Now I have question mark. I pass ID is equivalent to, let's say, 111. Now let's see what happens. Which function are we in? What is the name of the function? It is authorized. If I go to welcome page now, so I am redirected back with an ID 111. Right? Now please remember what we have done. And number second, if I go to log out now, right? Let me again type a query string with ID is equal to 112. Any random number that you want, so it's not necessary. Right? So let me log in now. And password. Right? So let me hit remember. Now we are at welcome.jsp. Now if I sign out, now you can say I get redirected to main page.jsp with an ID 112. This can be used and utilized for displaying user-friendly messages inside main page. Now what am I going to do? Because the main page already includes, all right, I have included using include directive. I've included login.jsp in main page right here, right? Okay, and I'm displaying the message user.getMessage. Okay, now let me do this here. If post is happening, let's say in case post is not happening, right? So I'll go to else and I'll start doing this nested if again. If request dot get parameter, and the parameter name is ID, capital ID. ID is not equal to, because I don't want it to throw a null pointer exception when ID is not available here. Maybe ID may not be available all the time. If I directly go to main page, right? If I'm trying to get anything out of ID and ID is now null, so it will throw null pointer exception. That's why you always have to give proper response, right? Professional development. And if ID is not equivalent to null, second nested if, and then if it is not null, right? If request dot get parameter, or I'll do one thing right here. So I will say param is equivalent to, if it is not null, and then tell me what is it, right? So I will say string parameter, which is param is equivalent to request dot get parameter ID. So now let's do this. So I will say if param dot equals, because we are taking string, any input that you are taking, whether from here or from here, any input that you are taking or you are taking any input, any kind of input that you take in programming language is taken as string. You already know that we have to explicitly parse or convert it, right? If param dot equals, what ID do I pass? 111 is the first ID that I pass. 111, right? In that case, what you got to do is you got to do something like this. So I will say, right, user dot set message, right, error. So, or you are not authorized to visit this page. As simple as anything. Right, and I will say else if, right? So else if param is equivalent to or dot equals 112, right? So that is log out, I suppose. Yeah, 112. Then user dot set message, right, successfully logged out. As simple as anything, right? So let me try and then I'll make you understand once again. Now if I directly try and go to welcome.jsp, I'm redirected back. You're not authorized to visit this page. Now as a very good developer or as a professional developer, it's your prime duty to tell user about the happenings, what is happening in the website, what are you trying to do, what you should do and what you should not do, right? That is our prime duty, okay? And the second thing, let us log in. Doesn't matter if you remember or do not remember. Now welcome for him to our website. Now once you sign out, you have to tell user that you are successfully logged out, right? Now how do you achieve that? I repeat, once you are logging out, you are passing this ID as 112. inside logout.jsp. And once you are thrown out after you're checked for authorization and authentication, and then once you are redirected back to main page, right, we know that your session has not started. This function is only called at certain areas which are protected, and we are passing id is equal to 111. Now if I say id is equal to 111 here, similarly you can see id is equal to 111. Now you'll get you're not authorized to visit this page. And if I type id is equal to 112, right, so what if I type 112, you're getting successfully logged out. That is what is happening here. Now if I go to welcome, if I go directly to welcome.jsp, I'm thrown out. You're not authorized to visit this page. Now in case if I log in, I still have to get the message. It's my right to get message whether I'm logged out or not, right? So I'll click on log out and successfully logged out. So now all the modules are falling in correct places, and we have started doing some serious development, right? And inshallah we shall carry on doing serious development, professional development, secure development in the concurrent class. Let me take a look at the time. So time is still, we have ample amount of time remaining, so time is not a constraint for us. All right, and I hope you have understood, and this is the third time I'm making you understand what a cookie is, or what a session does, or what a cookie does. So you should be familiar by now. You should be already familiar, and if you are not, practice hard. All right, so you are going to get familiar, right? I learned this technique maybe in 2006, 2007, and I don't forget it. What makes me remember this is practicing it regularly. All right, then you will be, it's going to be childish job doing these things, right? You can do anything that you want with programming, and that too Java. 15 billion devices use Java, top number 1 language in the world, right? So you got to believe yourself, right? And a few more things that I want you to be aware of. Now, what are we doing here? Let me go to profile first, right? So let me do the same with profile. Let me go to welcome. All right, and let me copy the entire code and go to profile. All right, so this is to my profile page. All right, okay, welcome user to my profile page is what we are doing here, right? So let us see after login, without logging in, if I go to profile, let me go to profile.jsp. Yeah, you're not authorized to visit this page. If I now go and visit with authorization, welcome Fahim to our website, and I have to get redirected to profile page. So now the serious thing, I'm going to give you a very serious homework, right? Take a look at this. Once I click sign out, I am signed out. Fine, you know that, okay? So now take a look at this. If I go to welcome page, right? If I go to welcome.jsp, I'm thrown back out. After throwing me out, I get back and I go to main page.jsp. But now if I log in, right, I am redirected back to welcome page. That is absolutely fine. Let me sign out again. Now if I go to profile page, right, I'm still redirected to login page, but technically I should be, after logging in, I should be able to go to profile page. Technically speaking, right, I should be able to go or get redirected to profile page, but I am not. I'm still getting redirected to welcome.jsp. Why is this happening? For that you have to visit and check your authorized function. What are we doing in authorized function right here? All right, so what are we doing in authorized function right here? You can take a look here. All right, we are redirecting user to welcome.jsp. Doesn't matter where the user is coming from, right? We are going to redirect user to welcome.jsp. Now what I want from you guys, I know that you have brains and your brains are mashallah, right, very well formed, and you are very mature and professionals. Let me create third. All right, so I'll say my, or we can say message, right? It's a very secure zone, message, right? So message being very secure. Welcome to message page. right? So now how many pages do we have? One. Yeah, we have welcome.jsp, and then we have message.jsp, right? All are having welcome for him, and we have profile.jsp. So we have 3 pages now, right? Now once I log out, now if I go to message.jsp, since message.jsp is doing the same thing right here, message.jsp is calling the same functions and calling accounts controller is authorized, and if I'm authorized, only then I'll be able to get the logged in user. So I'm doing the same thing right here, but yeah, now because I want to go to message.jsp, now I'm thrown out. Okay, fine, I log in, but once I log in, I should be able to get redirected to message, not welcome, right? If I go to profile page, I should, after being redirected, I should be able to go to I should be able to go to profile, but I still go to welcome. Now this is only happening, right? So because statically we have set the default redirection page to welcome.jsp. Now what I want you to track where the user is coming from. Maybe you may be able to track it like this. Now track, user is coming from message.jsp, right? I'll type profile.jsp. Now user is coming from profile.jsp. Track it, and then what you have tracked, redirect the user to that tracked material. And this is your homework, right? And believe me that if you do that and if you do this, do not tell me, feel proud that you are at the right place, a right track, and you're understanding like a pro. Still, if you are not able to do this, right, be patient, you will learn, practice more hard, right? So please submit, you're having very little time, submit your homework, right? Or tell me the solution down in the comment section, right? Or submit your homework in next 24 hours, and I shall be waiting and with all tender full of eyes and every single thing. So please complete your homework and let me know if I can help you down in the comment section, or you can directly comment or post, right? And till then, I wish you all the best. Do complete your homework, and second, all the best for your homework. Bye bye, see you, take care.